Right, hello guys, and welcome to my reaction to the Star Wars Battlefront 2 panel. So by the time that you're watching this video, my reaction to the reveal trailer that they did should be up. I'm going to be reacting to the rest of the panel after the trailer. They dropped the trailer at the beginning, so this will carry on from straight after the trailer. So if you want to watch along with me, you can. I won't have the video in the bottom screen, I'm sorry about that. But you can hopefully hear the audio. So they're just about to talk about the single player campaign, and I'd love to hear more about it because it looked very interesting.
Campaign, that character.
Everyone seems to be very excited in this panel, which is great.
I'm sorry, I'm at a loss for words. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, tell me.
The Rebellion has its heroes. It has its heroes like Skywalker, it has its heroes like Jyn Erso, but who are the heroes of the Empire? Who are the soldiers that can inspire
I've always wanted to hear,
in the galactic
see a story
Who were the elite
from
pilots that kids in the galaxy grew up dreaming of being? They wanted to go to these academies to become these elite pilots.
I've always wanted to play a game or watch a movie or read a book or TV show, comic book that is from the perspective of an Empire soldier or something. I mean, we've had those, but not as much as the heroes. So, really like that they're going this direction.
And what it meant to be an elite Imperial Special Forces soldier.
Yes. Love the perspective they're taking with this as well. The time period seems interesting as well.
A few people who might be interested in that. Some Stormtrooper fans out here, I hear.
I've always liked the Empire.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Well, the first thing we did
They're
when
cool.
we started working on the game was talk to our players, and most of them didn't want to relive the exact story they seen in the movie on TV. So thank you very much for that, because that gave us the great opportunity to work on a new untold story.
It seems it's an interesting time period.
But will also bring a new perspective by giving the point of view of the Empire.
The point of view of the Empire.
It's an interesting time period as well. It seems to be after the fall of the Empire as well, which is really cool. Which is
explored to this level before. Another question that comes into mind then is, when is this story
Here we go.
set? I mean, we saw some stuff in the trailer, but can you confirm that?
Yeah, sure. One of the first ideas we have, and sometimes you just need a moment of magic inspiration, and then you can weave a whole story from that. And I think our defining moment was we had this idea. When you see the Death Star 2 explode, in the movies and in that narrative, it's framed as a victory. You see everyone celebrating, partying with the Ewoks on Endor, fireworks across Coruscant is a big celebration for everyone. And we thought about this idea, like, what would it be like to be a stormtrooper on the ground and to look up to the sky?
it's a cool perspective that hasn't really been explored too much. What happened after the Empire fell?
And so that when you take off the helmet in disbelief and you look up at the sky, you immediately put that helmet back
It's
on
really cool.
with a new hardened resolve about how you need to take the fight back to the rebellion, and that the rebellion needs to die. And that was the starting moment for the story. And so we thought, let's pick it up from there. Let's tell a story that begins right at the end of Return of the Jedi. And then when Motive started to work on this campaign, it was at the time when The Force Awakens was still in theaters. We were all super excited about that jump of 30 years, because that leaves so many amazing questions. We were asking questions.
I know there's the Battle of Jakku in between.
What happened in those 30 years? And
So
we thought, hey, let's try.
it'll be
and tell one of
interesting
those
to
stories
see
that connects these two amazing
where this spans from. Because it's the end of Return of the Jedi, and it'll be interesting where it goes to. Really interesting perspective from the Empire, and after the fall of the Empire as well. That's great.
Of course.
Let's hope it's actually good.
Iden Versio.
Iden Versio.
Yeah, and she is the commander of Inferno Squadron, which is a brand new elite special forces unit
Yes,
that we've created.
I
with,
always
Lucasfilm.
love these kind of stormtrooper-like squadrons.
I imagine if you're involved
Playing
in
as one so interesting. This time period is really interesting as well.
Yeah.
I hope it's good though. I hope it's actually interesting.
Before we get into Lucasfilm,
I believe it's canon as well.
Canon story.
Yo, yes! Nice! Cool. That's great. Everyone in the crowd is fucking ecstatic. It's great.
I say that because Steve doesn't like the word canon. So I said it before he's here.
So, well, you just mentioned Steve. I think now is a perfect time to bring out someone from Lucasfilm Story Group, Steve Blank. Steve, you back there? Come on out and say hello.
Yeah, interesting. I'm very excited for this. I mean, I love the first Battlefront, but my biggest issue is the lack of content. The fact that it was only the original trilogy made it quite small, and also no story. And they seem to be literally implementing everything I wanted, which is great.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, as Mark mentioned, right, this was something that's been in the works for a while.
Sorry about the lighting.
They saw Force Awakens in theaters, and then they came to us at Lucasfilm, and they sat down both with Story Group, including Pablo and Leland and Matt Martin and myself, with our games production team internally at Lucasfilm, with people like Matt Philbrand and Orion and Jeff and Marco, and they sort of came to the table, being Mark and Motive, and said, hey, we're really interested in this time span, right, between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, and we'd really like to tell a story from an Imperial point of view, specifically in that span. And what they had done a lot of great homework before they even came to
Tell us
said,
how...
Okay, we've been reading a lot of the new material.
Does it lead up to the Battle of Jakku? Does it even go further?
We've read Shattered Empire, we've read Lost Stars, and so we understand, right, those details that you're starting to lay the groundwork for, and we really want to use those to help us tell a story. And we were on board for
Lost Stars is a good book as well, which is kind of
have that opportunity
taken from the kind of people in the Empire's perspective a little bit. And also there's an episode where of Rebels like that.
He was the one who had done a lot of that reading and a lot of that work. So this is our writer.
It was read literally everything ever written about Star Wars.
Which is awesome from our perspective, because it comes in and it makes those conversations so much easier, because you're all starting from the same place.
And I want to jump in on that. It's not only that we cooperate on story and characters, the big things.
Yeah.
I think someone on our team is talking to Lucas every day, and no matter how small or how big an item is, we always talk. It's every ability, every blaster, every screw on the little starfighter. We talk about it, and we find.
It'll be interesting to see how
Star Wars.
The time period and perspective is interesting. I hope the story's interesting. I hope it's long. I hope it's not like a 10-hour fucking campaign that would suck. And I also hope that it has an interesting mission structure.
I'm kind of geeking out a little bit right now. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So it's got a good base. I hope they do it well.
There were multiple considerations in building out a team and an idea like Inferno Squad, right? And it comes from, right, we're making a video game first and foremost, and we know that while still telling a compelling story. So we wanted to find what was this right group of people that had the skill sets that would make sense.
I hope they show gameplay.
We wanted there to be aerial combat, we wanted there to be ground combat, and we wanted, this character to be able to be proficient at both, right? And then from a story perspective, we were thinking,
I hope in terms of
who are the most devout, right?
Multiplayer it can go from air to land. I really hope they incorporate that as well.
Who can sit there and watch something like the Death Star 2 explode and go, I am going to double down on my commitment to this empire now, right? This strengthens my belief in what we have and what the empire stands for. And so all of that combined really led to this idea of like special operatives, right? People who have that type of training and also have that type of belief in what they are doing and those skills to be able to pull that off. And that marriage of those two is where Inferno Squad came from.
That's such a fresh take on heroism. It's such a unique perspective for Star Wars, and I imagine you could just go on and on and on about her history. What motivates this? I mean, I just want to find out so much more about this person. I mean, this must be something that you're exploring very deeply in order to tell this story in a compelling way.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, sort of the backstory of Iden, and just to pause at Iden for a second, we do have our actress who plays Iden Versio here today. Janina Gavankar is here in our front row, if she can stand up. So there she is! Right?
Where? I can't see her. You haven't shown her.
Awesomeness, right?
That's not helpful.
Put into this character, right?
Great. Whoever's fucking filming this is useless.
Talk about how you want this character to be a hero and to really stand for somebody who is heroic in the eyes of the Empire. And Janina really was was able to embody that, right, and did a fantastic job to what we had imagined Iden always being, and so we're really excited.
I really hope there's some really
see more
great
of her
air
and see this
combat
story play out,
missions.
and we have been spending
Just the idea of
quite
this
a
is
bit
so
of time,
cool.
also thinking about what her backstory would be, right, and who Iden is, and also who Inferno Squad is. And keen fans might recognize that name from something already.
Inferno Squad?
That's the one.
Does it ring a bell?
Hello.
Certain announcements? Well, we have another. I see.
I haven't heard it. Let's Google it.
Next to you, Steve.
There is.
Hashtag Google
We have
Inferno
another guest.
Squad.
Shall we bring her out?
I think now's a good time.
Well, let's do that because I want
It's
to learn more
a
about
there's a
Versio and
book
Philip
coming
Seymour.
out
Please
called
welcome
Inferno
Christy Golden,
Squad
author of
later
Star
in
Wars
this
Second
year.
Son, Dark Disciple, and the new book, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Inferno Squad.
Oh, here's the author of that book that is coming out. Cool. Question is though.
Amazing. Welcome to Star Wars Celebration again.
Thank you.
I want to ask you about the book. What can you tell us? And
Yes.
and what did you think about it the first time you were approached about Inferno Squad?
Well, first of all, it was a really solid script, so that gave me a good jumping off point to get an idea of who these characters are. We took the story back 4 years, and
Cool.
when you pick up this book, you'll get a chance to see how they all met and what they thought of each other.
Definitely
what
be
their first
checking that
mission
out.
was, and how they
Comes out
learned
July
to
as well.
become This well-oiled machine.
For
And
any
of
of you
course,
who want
as all good
to
stories are,
read the
it takes a
book,
little bit of doing to get
I
there.
googled it. It comes out July
And are we,
25th,
no, yeah, please.
2017.
Well, I just,
So-
I mean, where are we going to go during this story? I mean, I'm sorry, I have so many questions. I mean, are new locations? I mean, where's she from? Her family? Anything you can tell us
Yeah,
about
new
that?
planets would be
Well,
cool.
it's really great.
If there are any
there are
that they
multiple
explore.
locations,
Oh.
and one of them is her homeworld, and that of her father, Admiral Versio, at
What's the
a
homeworld?
place called Vardos.
Vardos.
Let's Google it.
And
Nice
I
base,
was
that's cool.
given some of the art to look at
Vardos,
to be able
Star
to set the scenes
Wars.
there appropriately, and it's, as you can
Has
see,
it been
it's quite
explored?
gorgeous and very
No.
striking. And one of the things that
Can't
the team
see
sent over,
it.
and
Wait.
I love this. I
No.
love being so involved at this level.
Unless I'm spelling it wrong.
Was
I'm not sure.
these trees that you see here, and they are positioned over pools so that when the leaves fall and they come in contact with the water, they bleed. And I was like,
Okay.
I can run with this.
Why?
Just such beautiful little bit of details that as a writer I get to give some history to and backstory of. It was great.
Well,
Is
and
there a
this is
need
such,
for
this
it
looks like such
though?
a new environment. There's so many. It's so different from what I remember in Battlefront. Is there anything else you can tell us about this environment that's unique for Battlefront?
Looks
Because
like
I mean, I see Imperial
one of the
flags
multiplayer maps
everywhere,
looks like it's actually
right?
in
This
this
is
new
obviously an
location.
Imperial occupation.
So the locations seem to
Yes,
be.
Vardos actually was brought into the Empire by Ivan's father.
So-
So she has a legacy to live up to.
Be interesting.
I see. So this is
I wonder
part
if
for
as well with the
families, to your
multiplayer
point
though.
earlier,
Actually, I
this
really
is-
hope they do. If they don't, it would suck if they don't combine the characters so you can't play as Darth Maul on like an original trilogy map. I hope they don't do that. That would
That's
suck.
exactly right, because that's something that we had developed sort of in conjunction as we were thinking about the game, and a piece that we were able to pass back to the book, because it was so foundational for Iden. And the way that this kind of space came about was, since we were thinking of shifting the perspective from the protagonist's point of view, right, to be on the Imperial side, that also meant, well, we would need a different sort of view on a planet and where she's from and what she comes from. And so normally when you see the Empire, right, on planets in Star Wars so far, there's a lot of occupation, there's a lot of sort of force used to get onto those planets. And so we wanted to come from a place of, well, what would it look like if a planet willingly joined the Empire and fully believed in it and was absolutely 100% invested in it? And so we started to design that, and incredible props, right? This is no easy feat to design a new location in the Star Wars galaxy. It is a challenge, and there is a lot of work, as you can see from Mark's laughing, that goes into designing a new location. And on the motive side with Chris, and on our side with Hez, like there was so much collaboration to really design this place to feel that home of the Empire in a place that
Be
was
interesting to
willing
see
be part of it, and
if
that's why you see a lot of these more
story
brutalist-inspired
is
structures
not
and
necessarily
so much
open world,
flair
but
in those flags.
open
Now,
map.
this is a very sort of urban environment.
So
this isn't like
it's
the
not
open
just
battlefield of Hoth. Paula, what
you
can tell us
following
about-
soldiers around.
about
You can
Varus in
actually
terms of
explore
gameplay?
this world yourself, and you can just kind of run around in it without doing any of the missions or something. That'd be cool. I hope they do that. Kind of like some of the Halo missions where you can just kind of run around the little map area and kind of explore. It would be interesting if they do that, where you can kind of explore the map.
So you have different locations.
I hope so, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's great. You have different locations and you have different heroes on each world. Can you talk a little bit about that process and working with Motive in terms of figuring all of that out? Either one of you, please, or both.
So this, I mean, so the story in the campaign really follows Aiden's journey, right, from the end of Jedi's up to the Force Awakens.
So it is that.
And,
That's
you know,
a
as we follow
long
her
period.
journey,
I hope it's
wanted
actually a
to
long
touch
campaign as
cross
well.
paths with some of the
That would
iconic
be
heroes,
very nice. I
of
don't know how they're going to
Star Wars.
structure that.
From a
30
narrative, but also
years
from a
is
gameplay
very
point of view,
long.
Because I think what differentiates Battlefront for me is the fact that you get to step into the shoes of these iconic heroes. You get to put down the blaster and pick up a lightsaber, and you get to be a Jedi and kick ass on the battlefront. And so we wanted the campaign to be a reflection of that. We wanted the similar gameplay experience and flow in the story. And so we have these chapters, that unspecified at this point number of chapters, where we'll step into the shoes of the iconic heroes,
Cool.
and we get to experience not only different gameplay, but also a different chapter in these characters' lives, which is where the
Interesting.
collaboration with Lucasfilm dovetailed so closely.
Interesting
And,
if
I mean,
they delve
clearly,
into
like
maybe
what Mark
Luke
was
in
saying,
that
it's-
period. That'd be kind of cool.
It's a big undertaking, right? If you're going to tell new chapters and stories of characters that are particularly ongoing, right? And we know are still working in different mediums, and there are new stories coming. But it was something
Like
they brought
they're
to the
trying to
table
look
from
where
day
Luke
one
is,
as
and they
sort
go,
of like,
"Where's
you know, a
what's
core
Luke doing?" And
principle
then
of
it
Battlefront,
goes to
like
like
saying,
you
is to
playing as
step
Luke
into the
doing
shoes of the hero
whatever
and really become some of those
he's doing. That'd be kind of
characters.
interesting.
And so we knew from the start that was something we wanted to bring also to the single player campaign. And so we were finding ways to bring meaningful characters and known characters into that campaign in really sort of respectful and organic ways to the main story of Aiden and Inferno Squad. And also respectful of the legacies of those famous characters that are coming. And so what I can say, I can't specify how many,
Okay.
but what I can say is in the single player mode, in story mode, you will get to play as Luke Skywalker
Yes.
and Kylo Ren.
Nice. Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
Thank you.
What? So it's up
When
into
I
the
saw
Force
them in the trailer, and
Awakens.
I was just thinking, oh please, timeline, put together 2 and 2 is 4.
How
Yes,
is it-
please,
what
Kylo
part
Ren
are you gonna be able to
Skywalker.
play
That
as
is
Kylo
so
Ren?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, that is really, really incredible.
That's interesting.
Now, Chris, I know that your time is limited with us on this panel, but I know you have some news to share
Oh.
about your book. Is that right?
I do, but before we do this, I have to say a shout out. So often when you work with media tie-ins, the books are regarded as just kind of advertising material for the core product, but I have felt so included and so involved and so much a part of this. It's really been very, very special, and I have to give a big shout out to Janina, who reached out to me to talk about Aiden, to get some more of her history and her backstory, to bring that to her performance. So that was so appreciated and so much fun.
My camera's dying. If the video cuts out,
It's been a
I'm
great
very sorry.
collaboration across the
There will be a
board, right?
part
We've
2
all
of this
been
video.
talking, and there's
I don't
a
know how
lot
long of this
cool
panel's.
stuff that
The
we're
panel's an hour and a half. It's been on for
these two
half an
stories
hour.
that
I don't know if it's all Battlefront 2.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's been a blast. The book
Interesting if they show anything
is
else.
now entitled Battlefront Inferno Squad.
Oh wow. Okay.
Battlefront 2
They've
Inferno
changed the
Squad.
title
And there's
by
that cover.
adding the word Battlefront. Wow.
That is a gorgeous cover. Yeah. Round of applause. That's amazing.
It's a nice cover.
And it will be out on July 25th.
Cool.
July 25th.
5 days before my birthday. I'll get it for my birthday and I'll read the hell out of it.
Well, any final thoughts? I know you have to go, but thank you so much. Any closing thoughts?
I'm as excited as anybody. I just saw the trailer myself yesterday, and I am completely blown away. This looks like it's going to be so much fun, and it's such an honor to be connected with something like this.
Alright, so I'm gonna
My
leave the
hope
video
is
off here
that
because my
you
camera's
will
about to
read the book
die,
and
so
then
there will be a
come
part 2
read
of
it.
this.
It's going to give you a much
And it'll be,
deeper and richer
I don't know
experience because you will have seen
how
where
much
they
they'll
came
show
from and are
in
seeing
the
where
second
they're
part,
going.
but yeah, I'm gonna cut off here, then you go to the next video upload. So I'll see you then.
I guess